Good afternoon, Jonathan.
Hi, Chief.
How you doing?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Good. I got a joke for you, and I want you to understand that it's not a criticism, but I'm upset with you. I'm totally upset with you. You sent me a picture of my nephew with a bow tie on, suspenders, and he looked like Farmer John. I said, boy, I gotta straighten my nephew out. I said, well, it was very nice. Thank you for the picture. It was very nice. Look like you go out to church or go to the fair or something. The colors was not.
No. It was just the baby clothes. How the wife is the baby
Right.
clothes. You got to go anywhere. It's just dressing him up type of thing.
I saw the bow tie and said, oh wow. I said, very nice.
Oh yeah.
Very nice. I was glad to get it.
Oh, it's
Thank
funny.
you.
Right as I turned on the camera on the phone, he started making all those little cute poses and everything, and I was like,
how did you get him to sit so still?
oh, that's just my babies, Doc.
Yeah,
That's just my babies.
just sitting. No fuss, no with.
You know what I mean? That's just how babies are when you raising them right, you know.
Yeah. Very good, very good. And how's the mommy?
When that boy gets up, he wants to move.
I'm quite sure. And he's a big guy.
You know, he got used to me leaving early for work, so it's winter, so I don't have to leave early. So I give myself like another hour to sleep in. You know, enjoy the retirement month. And I'll hear him moving around, and I open my eyes, and he looks at me, and he goes, oh, and he goes crawling over. It's a different experience when the baby sleeps in the bed with you, you know.
Yeah, you're right. I agree. I totally agree. That's their rest.
Yep.
So how's your projects going?
Oh, it's going great. I'll show you one we just put in. I had put some more drywall up in the kitchen, on the kitchen ceiling.
Oh, you did?
More light.
Oh, very good. Very good.
A front door light, a new front door light up there, and then a front porch light.
Very good.
And then in the living room, we decided to put in a wood stove.
Oh, wow, nice.
So me and the kids, we made a hearth with river rock in it.
Right. Very nice.
But we're going to do
that. That gives off enough heat?
Yeah, and it warms the living room here and the kids' bedroom.
Wow, very good.
Which, Yahshua, you need to...
Yeah. It's all closed up now, huh?
This room? Are you helping mommy right now? Okay.
It's all closed up, Jonathan?
Yeah, it's all closed up. Their rooms are all closed up. Their rooms are technically the first finished rooms in this house. They're even before. Which...
Very good.
Look at this room. What is that?
Very good.
Stuff come out.
Yeah.
They've been pulling stuff in the living room, and Mom's got it back in.
How many panes did you have to put for that area?
How many what?
How many panes in your windows? 2, 3?
Oh yeah, these are dual pane windows. They're the ones with the argon glass in between the panes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good thermal windows. They don't get cold. That's what's nice about them. You know, when they have that argon gas spill.
Yeah, yeah.
It's snowing right now, going through the valley.
It didn't snow, did it? Just rain?
It's snowing.
Yes, there it is.
Big boy. Big boy. You know, white. Oh!
Gary.
Yeah, it works. It works good. Managed to get the stovepipe in before the rain started coming down.
Oh, you just put it in?
Yeah, we just put this, because we were going to do the earth and then the walls before we put it in, but now the weather started.
Yeah.
So I had to take advantage of the dry weather, put the plastic up on the roof to allow the vent to go out to the roof.
What's the black pipe in there, Jonathan? You got 2 layers?
Black pipe? Oh, that's a joint. It's a joint that allows it to just turn a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's working nicely. And the kids get the flicker of the fire in the nighttime, you know.
Right.
And see, I would finish this wall right now, because I got the drywall for it, but me and Brittany, we really like how the plywood finishes on the wall.
Yeah, it's if you can make it work, it's better.
Yeah, and so what we're going to do is on the back wall in the living room here, we'll have the plywood on that wall as like an accent wall.
Very good. Very good. I want to try to find the name of that board. It looked like compressed board, but it had a tremendous strength and it's heavier than regular plywood. I gotta remember what's the name. I don't remember the name of it. I think I use them on shear walls mostly.
Oh, OSB, Oriented Strand Board.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But it's more expensive than plywood?
They make it out of all the wood chips from the sawmill.
But it's more expensive than plywood?
No, it's cheaper. It's not as
pliable?
Well, it's not as it's not a finished. It's primarily material.
But this would look like sawdust, Jonathan. It look like sawdust. It don't look like plywood.
Yeah. This one, it's like a bunch of chip pieces put together.
No, the one I'm talking about, it looked like sawdust, almost like sawdust, compressed sawdust.
That must be the zip board then.
But you're right. It was OSB. It was OSB.
Okay. Yeah, because OSB is made more of like chip material, like here.
Yeah.
I've
seen that one. Because I bought a lot of beams because a lot of my
like that?
Cross beams were maybe anywhere from 15 to almost 40 feet across.
Oh yeah.
And then they had some of them had, for the weight, if I was having weight on it, it would have the arch, it would be arced, slightly arced, so that when the compression from on top come down, it wouldn't sag.
Interesting.
But most of it is more expensive than, because if you need a cross beam to go 30 feet, something like that, it's pretty big.
Oh yeah, those Gulam beams get pricey, man. Oh man.
Yeah. I used to extend them pretty far. Yeah. When you're building a house on the hillside, when you're building a house on the hillside, and you need the people to be able to enjoy the view, you can't have a post sitting in the middle of it.
Exactly. You gotta, and for that you have some pretty substantial beams in order to allow that to stand.
You should put them over the crane.
Yeah, shoot, I think just for an 8-foot opening, you have to have it's like a 2 by 14 by like 6 beam or something like that. Just for an 8-foot wide open area. Oh no, sorry, that's a 10-foot wide. 8-foot wide is a 2 by 12 header, as thick as the opening, and it's usually by 6,
Yeah.
so 5.5. So it's like 4 2x12 sandwiched together with some gussets, and that's usually what's above any French door or sliding glass door opening, about 8 feet.
I think some of them I had was 16 inches wide. I mean, tall. Tall, not wide. 16 inches tall. Because all of them regular wide, either 4 by 6 by something like that, or sometimes they might be 8 inches wide.
Mm.
But once you set them in the saddle, once you put them in the saddle on the post and put the boat in them, they're not going any place.
Well, guys are getting smart nowadays. They're using I-beams instead, because the price of lumber made it to where a steel I-beam was just the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I use a lot of trusses in the roofs and stuff like that, in the floors.
Oh yeah. Yep. Those what do they call them again? They're kind of like it's pretty much truss. They're the new joist, I-joists. Those wood I-joists where it's like 2 2-bys with a OSB gusset running down the center to make it like a wooden I-beam. And they're building all the houses and everything out of it. But in reality, any moisture gets into the building, and those joists are crap because OSB will absorb the moisture. And OSB isn't like plywood where it'll let the moisture go without damaging or warping the material. But OSB the moisture will delaminate the lamination of all the fine particulates that make up the board, and it'll cause it catastrophic failure over time. And that's what's funny. A lot of these buildings built with it have only been built in the last like 15 years, and so they haven't had enough time to show what's going to happen with that material.
Well, I got to find the name of the one that look like sawdust. It look like you don't see any grains of wood. You just see a solid composition of whatever it's made out of. But it was expensive, but it was very strong. I can't remember the name of it. Can't remember the name of it. But I used to use them in shear walls and stuff like that. If I had I'm dealing with loads and shear and movement and the whole 9 yards. I forgot. It's a long time. Remember?
Is it MDF?
It might have been. It might have been, Jonathan. I don't remember anymore. And sometimes they'd be so heavy that they would tilt the crane over. Right.
Huh.
Yeah. He said the guy says, "Oh, you're going off the road." The crane be going from one side, tilting over.
Huh.
Sometimes they did that with the steel beams they used to order too. The steel beams that go inside the caisson holes. But that's
the only thing I could think of would be MDF, but because I know people use MDF as shear, and back in the day in like the 90s, late 80s, they were using that a lot for shear and subfloor. But it's the most common material cabinets are made from.
Yeah, right. But this was a little bit heavier than a cabinet, the one you put on a cabinet.
Really?
It was very strong.
Huh.
Yeah. I'm gonna find the name. I'm gonna call one of my guys and ask him what was it. I forgot.
Or you're gonna tell me the name? Like, oh
yeah. Yeah. Brother Cooper, are you there?
I'm here.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I was working on editing also. So just doing both. So yeah, I'm doing good. You guys doing great?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said, you guys doing fine?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh. Am I breaking up on him, Jonathan?
No, you're not breaking up.
Can't hear me. It's got to be a technical.
Yeah. So we've been going through this, but you guys had a lot of it, Jonathan, up there where you are. I saw some of it in Las Vegas. Was it New Year's Eve, Gary?
Say it again, Bernard.
Was it raining New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day in Las Vegas?
I don't know. I don't go down the strip. I haven't been down the strip in over 20 years since I moved here in '95. I got state.
No. I mean, the whole area. I thought the whole area was raining.
Oh, raining?
Yeah, raining.
Oh yeah, it was a flood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it rained a lot, and they still showed up.
Yeah, and we getting that because it separates. I think you get the northern portion, and we get the ones that's coming off the south.
Well, I think the atmospheric river, at least the way it was depicted on the radar map, was coming off the ocean, moving east.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you guys were getting a lot. We got some heavy rain for 4 or 5 days. Somewhere in that.
Yeah.
It just rained straight for days.
I warned my sisters and my sisters back in Louisiana. I said, you got to come in a couple of more days. You'll get it.
Yep. Yeah, move west.
It's fascinating how Yahweh can take that, like a cloud, and then send it all the way across. You think it'll run out of water all the way across the country.
Yeah, especially riding on those winds.
Right.
Right. So it's just the rotation of the Earth. The rotation of the Earth as well. The rotation of the planet as well. So it drives the weather.
Yeah. And when you're in an airplane, you fly through the clouds, you don't see nothing. Right.
Can't see a thing.
That's right. Lo and behold, you stand under it.
On my way back from Ohio, when I was on the plane, I saw one of the most interesting sights I've ever seen in my life. So I turned around and I was telling the man sitting behind me, I was like, hey, look out the window, And he looked out the window and he saw what I was talking about, and he was like, thank you so much for telling me to look out the window. the cloud parallel to us, there was like a storm. There was a storm over one city we were flying over or whatever. But in the clouds, the lightning, like a lightning bolt was just bouncing around inside of the cloud. The whole time we were just flying by it was just bouncing around. It wasn't coming down. It was just staying in the cloud, bouncing around inside the cloud. It was so amazing to see.
Wow.
And when it got to the East Coast, or over there to, not the East Coast, in Ohio, not too far east. But when I was pulling into, where was that? I don't know, like an hour away from Ohio where I made my transfer flight. The clouds, you couldn't see it from underneath the clouds, but when you got up the cloud, on top of the clouds, there were pillars of clouds. It was all like spires, all spires of like. It was weird. It was interesting, and when I looked at it, I was thinking, I was like, oh, that's just like them angels. them bodies of the clouds up in the clouds.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. It was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. There's a lot to learn from it. Yeah.
I'll tell you though, these temperatures, I'm like coldest time, and that's all negative teen temperature night, stuff like that, and we'll have like low 20s in our daytime. We have had nothing but mid 40s, high 30s, and it ain't even dropping too low in the night. Wow. Very interesting, the temperature going on right now.
Maybe someone up there asked for a milder winter.
Hey, well, we were told when it starts feeling like June and December, pack your bag.
Mine's been packed.
Right. Oh man. Yep.
So how's the other classes doing?
They're doing. I mean, I could hear everybody's going over all the basics. I could see they're getting everything ready for Florida.
Okay.
To me, there's no need in that. It's not. We don't have a prepared speech, so you ain't got to get up on the floor and prepare your speech.
Yeah, we would to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I heard Barry say something today that I wasn't too fond of hearing before. He went up on the floor talking about how Elohim wasn't the savior, and I'm like, buddy, you don't know what you're saying.
He wasn't the savior.
Yeah, he's like, Elohim wasn't the savior. Yahshua was. That's not like, you don't know what you're brought salvation back to God.
Can't hear you.
You can't hear me, Gary?
Now I can hear you. You were breaking up before.
Oh. Yeah, he had said that Elohim wasn't the savior, that Yahshua was the savior, and I'm just like, buddy, you don't realize you bring salvation back to the physical.
Right.
And I posted in the chat. I mean, it's possible, but the apostles from Joshua, they were identifying Elohim. They were Elohim.
Still breaking up.
As Yahshua, that they were identifying.
Yeah, you're still breaking up.
It might be your interference, Doc.
Okay, turn it off.
What do he have to turn off?
I don't know if you hear. There's like that white noise in the background when his mic is unmuted.
Oh, okay. I haven't paid attention to that. I missed something.
Yeah, it's a slight background noise that, interestingly enough, I think it's the system when it's pulling in two voices at once. It has to pick one over the other, and so when there's a constant slight noise in the background, it interferes at times with a person talking. Because you don't hear any interruption now, right?
No, at all.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Which kind of is unfortunate because, Doc, you got a whole new computer to avoid that. But I really do. I gotta jump on there for you and go on your settings because I'm pretty sure it's your microphone sensitivity. That's all it is. But no, I was saying that he had made mention, and I understand what he's trying to convey, but even what he's trying to convey it's not right. He's like, Elohim's not he goes, I don't even like repeating it. Elohim's not the savior, Yahshua's the savior. One that just drew a distinction between Elohim and Yahshua. I mean, I understand that and here's the fact of it. Elohim is the savior, and his salvation was manifested through that prepared sacrificial body. The prepared sacrificial body is not the salvation. And that's what he's trying to draw a link to by saying Yahshua is the savior, not Elohim. Not understanding that when the apostles signified Yahshua, they were declaring Elohim. They weren't declaring the man they had been walking around with in the body, the coat of flesh. They were not. They were not talking about that body that went on the cross. They were not. They were talking about the one who was in that body. And that was when the Messiah asked them, who does thou sayest I am? And they said, Yahshua, the Son of the living Yahweh. Peter said that. And he said, tell no man till the appointed time, till the vision yet come. The vision that came was Pentecost, and that's why after Pentecost, they continually revealed that man who had been walking around was Yahshua. And because the Jews understood that Elohim is Yahshua. That's something people don't understand today, that the Jews back then, they were not confused that Elohim himself is Yahshua. They were confused about that. They understood that was Yahweh's image. Their problem was, how dare you as a man say that that's who you are? That's the problem, and that's exactly who that was in the body of a man, telling them and teaching them. And they were like, oh, how dare you say that you're that one? You know, that's how come Peter could be like, you're Yahshua. Because they knew about Yahshua. They knew about Elohim. Like, Elohim appeared to them. That's all the scriptures they had were testimonies of men seeing and hearing Elohim. Seeing and hearing Yahweh's salvation. So it's, majority of them were blind about when that salvation manifested. That was the issue. So it's like, it's just odd. It's just odd that you can be Pasadena, you can be headquarters, and that's what's coming out the mouth of headquarters. That ain't, it's just, I ain't got too many words for it on that manner. I got the correction for it, but I ain't got too much. I don't want to be slandering nobody over it in that manner.
Because they're highly schooled, and not schooled in doctrine, but highly schooled in normal education, and they think that they a bucket of wisdom. Right. But they didn't hear Glenn. They were sleeping also when Glenn said that there's no difference between Yahweh Elohim Yahshua the Messiah and you. Only thing is the separations and the description that you see. Other than that, it's the self same spirit, self same one. No difference. And you can't make a difference. You make a difference, you've gotten off the track.
Well, it's weird too, because he went into that explanation, trying to explain how there was no difference. And it's like, I don't know.
I find it sad that since Glenn's passing, it seems as though that they keep trying to reinvent and recorrect themselves. And I don't understand it. This person get mad, they don't come anymore. That one get mad, they don't come anymore. So, and you sit there with anger in your heart over the people that's speaking. How can that be?
It's interesting. It's just interesting. I really don't like it because, Doc, there ain't no school out there.
You're right.
We got the conference call here, keeping things straight, and it's like, and I know there's brethren around keeping things straight within themselves. He always keeping himself straight within that vessel he's chosen to manifest in. It's a sad one when you come across the Florida Pasadena class, because I literally can say 98% of everything they're saying is on point. And that's what makes the misspeaking even sadder to me than going to another class and hearing them just completely like they're repeating what they have remembered in regards to Blood, Water, Spirit 40, but they don't even understand Blood, Water, Spirit 40 to actually expound and teach it. And so they're just mistaken all over the place. They're like stepping over their own feet with almost every sentence. It's like, but then you go over to Pasadena in Florida and you listen to them and you'll cry. You'll cry because you're hearing brethren keep it to the point. But then you'll hear all these mistakes that are coming from a position where the person's so sure in what they're saying because they know that they're like the only class keeping to the truth. So it's like, it's a lot sadder when I hear it, man. It just is. It's like, I don't know, it's a lot sadder when I hear it. I don't know. It's like, how many steps back you got to take to have Elohim's not the Savior come out of your mouth? How many steps back? How many times Glenn got to correct little tiny sayings like, it's not the lamp, it's not the 7-branch candlestick, it's the 7-branch lampstand, because it didn't have no wax in it. It wasn't a candlestick. It was filled with oil, so it's a lampstand. How many times you got to have particulates, like something where the specific understanding of what's being said is shown, how precise you should be with your words, and then you say something like, I'm not going to go crazy tonight, y'all, and go all up in the cloud. Like, how does a phrase like that cross your lips? Like, I understand the sentiment being saying. I'm not even like, oh, you a bastard, you wicked, you ain't got no good, you really don't love Yahweh in your heart, and that's why that's not even why it's coming out of your mouth. It's like, I understand the innocence for why it's coming out your mouth, but the understanding you're claiming goes hand in hand with something like that never coming out your mouth. You know, and it's like, so when you do hear it come out the mouth, out of those whose mouths it should never be coming out of, it's sad. You know, it's like you having a really good kid, and then you turn the corner and you hear them cussing up a storm or threatening some other little kid, and you're like, that ain't who you are. You know, that's how it is to me when I hear that. When I hear stuff like that. You're okay, big boy. But yeah. I mean, man, the joy Teresa and Jan had on that talk with those strangers, and the majority of them being atheists. Like, Teresa was so happy. She was like, I've never had anybody go toe-to-toe with me like that. I've never had that before. And it's exciting because you're putting the tools that Yahweh gave you to work. They're not just sitting over there in the garden shed. You actually using them to till the soil. You actually using them to grow some plants. You know, you actually putting them to use. And you're seeing how good they work. You know when you get a really good tool and you using this chintzy little tool, and it's just, everything takes an extra 10 minutes per little thing you're doing, and then this new tool you get, and you're like, dang, and you finish the whole thing in like 10 minutes, you're like, oh my goodness, why didn't I have this tool before? That's what it feels like when you go out in the world and you bring this gospel to people. It's like using the best gardening tools that there are to have. You know, it's invigorating. It's joy.
It is. It definitely is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's, man, and it's like I see these videos of people, you know, those people walking around, blessing people with a new car, a stranger with a new car, getting some homeless person $1,000 and all this, and the reaction these people have, like, oh my goodness, thank you so much, you don't know how much I needed this and all this. And to me, it's like, what we have to offer for people is greater than any riches that they'll ever get. It's like, that's the reaction you do have. Like, look at how everybody reacted to Glenn. Hey, the man's been passed away, and y'all still getting up on the floor talking about, my life changed when I heard this man speak to me. You don't realize you have the same position with everybody in the world? Like, you have, like, the power was given to you to offer that change? Like, you can't force the man to be changed, of course, but you have the power to offer real change. It's like, why? Why hold that back?
Glenn used to say, tag, you're it.
Man. Well, you know, even in the going to Florida thing, because there's a tape, I got a tape where he says, I didn't have y'all come to Florida just to go out, you know, be lost, da-da-da-da. He said, I had y'all come out here to help me, right? And what was he going to do all by himself? He was going to write the book, right? Right? And that's what he had you come out to Florida, to help him. To help him what? Help him get the gospel out. You know? And here you sitting around like, oh, we just got to keep this class open till we obedient enough and Yahweh gives us that vision revelation, and then we'll go out and we'll heal people and all this. And it's like, you know what that tells me? That tells me you don't think the gospel is powerful enough to change a man's heart, that you got to have some proof of healing someone physically for them to actually listen to your words. And that tells me you don't believe in the power of the words that you have within you. That's what that tells me. It's like if you feel, oh, if I'm able to cause that man to not be sick no more or give that man some physical sight, then the people will just come and listen to what we're saying, and they won't fight us about it. They'll just come and openly listen to what we're saying. And it's like, you do realize that the more important power, the power that's there is the words you have. Like, but you waiting around for some superpowers to bring somebody in. What kind of hunky-dory crap is that? And, you know, and Pat got on the floor and she was talking about, he told us that we're obedient, we'll get a vision revelation, you don't believe, whatever, you will get a vision. Yes, I don't care if you don't believe, you're getting a vision revelation. Like, I don't care if you're disobedient, you getting a vision of revelation. Like, do understand that. So people trying to play this idea of like a credit system with Yahweh to get something. What the hell? What the hell?
That stems from works, Jonathan.
Yeah.
That stems from the concept of works that you must be very faithful because you produce a lot of works for the so-called kingdom of the Lord Jesus Christ. And without that, you can't define yourself as being a Christian. That's what drives them. But I'm going to simply put it this way. Yahweh did say he'll send them a strong delusion if they believe a lie. So we know the why. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm knowing. They reject the truth in their hearts.
Yeah. Yahweh said to him that knoweth to do good and doeth not, to him, you know, they're missing the mark. The King James advisor said to him is sin. But that sin has been accomplished and defeated on the cross when Yahshua did away with that. But so you have to see the fact that they know the truth. They know the founder walked this planet, and that was Yahweh in a physical body. And they've heard, if they haven't heard it directly, they heard it on tape, they heard it at convention. And then what happened down to the last 20 years, everything went sideways. But the founder just said that wolves, something about wolves, you know, appearing among the brethren. So,
he had said that there was going to be a young wolf that was going to come up in the class. Not somebody just coming into the class, but somebody raised up in the class that was going to come and cause people to be misled.
Did that not happen?
When I read that, it's funny enough, when I read that, it's in his last lecture, but when I read that, the name that was put on that wolf was Aaron Bryant. Did that not come to pass?
Yep, it did come. And that's what I'm saying. Yep. When you're expressing the fact that, you know, having that joy and that fire and, you know, sharing the gospel. I know that feeling very well. And then see it take fruition. That is awesome. But I also know that same drive and warrior-like spirit that when someone just basically tell you crazy, there ain't got to be no Yahweh. Oh, it don't matter. You can call me anything you want to. I don't believe in that, you see. But that same fire still has to be able to destroy the person saying it doesn't matter what you call them. See? They don't feel the fire, but we're still throwing out that love at the same time, that passion to try to, you know, tell someone about Yahweh, and at the same time, we're bearing a sword.
Yep.
And we become the reaper at the same time. We become the blesser and the reaper. So that doom rests on their head for denying Yahweh. That don't matter. Shoot, I'm on my own. Okay.
You know what's funny with you saying that too? That tape that we were talking about last week that Shelley was referring to that I sent out to everybody of Glenn, where he was talking about the Bermuda Triangle. In the beginning of the tape, he actually goes over this. He said that he says, you know what you do when you've shared the gospel with somebody? He says, you've made them a sure candidate for the lake. He goes, you made them a sure candidate for the lake. He goes, now that's not what you're supposed to be worried about. And it's funny, I swear he caught someone's thought right after he said that, because he says, oh, you ain't supposed to be, but you ain't supposed to be worried about that. Like, that ain't supposed to be your concern. Like, oh, I don't want to share it because then I'll be sending them to the lake. And it's like, because you're not the one sharing it, it's Yahweh sharing it. It's Yahweh issuing the ticket to the lake. Right. And at the end of the day, it's the person's disobedience and rejection of the truth that really sends them to the lake in that manner.
Right. That's correct.
That's correct. Yeah, that's one where it's You know what's funny? That is always a peaceful point in it. Is like, well, I've been alone since day one.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That is a determination whether you are Yahweh blesses to increase that seed that you threw out there, and then everybody goes the same way, or don't. And you look at it and just say, okay, what next? So you can say, I was not started, when I learned the truth about Yahweh, I was in my dark room. I was also the assistant youth pastor. But I saw the hypocrisy in the Church of God, where what you say to a pastor is supposed to stay there. Man, they get up on the floor doing service and throw your name out there. Well, Brother Cooper came to me in my office. So basically, some of that same behavior went on in IDMR here in Las Vegas and in Lansing. So, it is frustrating in one sense of how no one really took Yahshua serious when he was Yahweh, coming in as Yahshua. They didn't take him serious. Most of them called him crazy. He had the Beelzebub. And I'm sure there was grief there, but at the same time, he created everybody. It's like, I don't care. I got the key to the leg, buddy, or I got the key to the boy's body. So, you have to kind of have a thick skin in preaching the gospel. You can't come light. You can't. If you're going to get that reward, it's like a runner's high. And I used to be a long-distance runner. I know what it is when it ain't you talking, and you're preaching the gospel to someone, and you're saying, like, wow, I wouldn't have said that in a million years. Wouldn't even understood it, But when, that's a rush to me. It really is a rush. And it's also a rush. It's also a rush to see Yahweh say, I'm turning off the light in that vessel. I ain't in there like that. So, it's a double-edged sword. It's joy, but you better be prepared to understand when you're swinging that sword, it's going to be Yahweh and you're doing some cutting, some microsurgery, and he'll manifest himself after that. But if not, that sword will be destructive.
Well, it's just, man, Gary, you growing plants, that's one of the best examples, being a gardener, too. You put that energy into a group of plants, and 3 out of 10 make it and take it.
Yeah.
But, those 3 out of those 10 that made it, they give you so much more joy than the 7 that didn't. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And here's a beautiful thing too, because I always tell people, even if the person doesn't catch what you're saying, one thing always understand is it's Yahweh speaking. It's not you trying to summon Yahweh to speak or calling back some stuff from your memory. It's Yahweh speaking. So when you take that step back, you learn a lot too, because things are going to come that you admit within yourself, I never heard that before. I never researched that. I got to go research what just came out my own mouth.
Right.
Type of thing. And the same thing with plants. It's like, though, like some of those seeds may not take and all that, the whole thing taught you something at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Something you can take and apply to the next group that you try to plant.
Exactly. And the other blessing is, though, that the 3 that made it are going to give millions of seeds.
Oh, yeah.
Millions of lives against, like, sons being, manifested again. You see what I'm saying? You won't even see the 7. It'll be an innumerable host of seeds after they go to seed. And some people and farmers, because I grew up on a farm, used to say, no, don't let your plants go to seed. And they didn't have an understanding. But the old people back there, my grandmother, I call her my Nana, she owned a 27-acre farm, and she wouldn't sweat when things wouldn't grow. She said, if I could just get one plant that go to seed, it's been worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And we preaching the gospel and get one person to see the vision and get the revelation. It's like a rush.
Yep.
It is a rush.
Yep. It was exciting hearing Rick. Here's one for you to see, Dr. Vine, too. Like, you both of you have heard Rick talk and whatnot, and it was exciting seeing him come around and start picking up on some things. You know what just happened to Rick recently? Spontaneous blindness.
Physical. Right?
Well, spontaneous blindness. It's happened in one eye, and it's starting to happen in his other eye, where he believes it was a spontaneous retina detachment. I told him make sure to go to the doctor, make sure it wasn't a stroke. And he was like, this reason, that reason. And I said it plainly, and it was the last sentence I said to him. He didn't say anything back. I said, don't be rejecting what you received, the sight you were given. I was like, it ain't something to play with.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. And the bottom end, Yahweh did that. He manifested the blindness. You want the light. You like being in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
I used to hear people say in class, and they would point to cases where somebody would come in, and then they'd be there for a little bit, and then they just go back, whether it's the church or the atheistic beliefs, and they would be run crazy. They would just be so stone crazy. But coming in the presence, taking up the plow, and then letting go again.
Well, he did a whole thing on here of trying to prove us wrong by calling on Yahweh and being like, Yahweh, take me out this system, because through some choices in his past, he ended up with some circumstances he kind of has to deal for the rest of his life. And he asked Yahweh that, and we all on here were like, so be it. And he kept trying to use that against, and he had some court cases he had to deal with, which were going to make things worse for him. And all of a sudden, the district attorney that was representing his cases retired out of nowhere, and the judge retired out of nowhere, to where the cases just disappeared. And to where he called me after it happened, and I told him, I was like, Rick, well, you know who you got to give the glory to. He's like, yeah, I can't deny that was all Yahweh. I can't deny that. And I said, see what that does? And then he had a situation where he's like eligible for Social Security from disability or something from back, whatever. But he's able to get like $3,700 a month. And so started his sister as being his payee and going through all that. And his sister called me like a month ago out of the blue. I was at work, and she called me to ask me some stuff about the Bible, because in some old conversations, well, you know, when people know what you have, they're gonna recognize there's nobody else they can really get it from. And I brought it up with her about how Rick had said that. She goes, oh no, yeah, me and Andy, her husband, we know about that. And we were telling Rick after the whole court case thing, you do realize that's your prayer being answered, right? That was the Yahweh answering your prayer. Yahweh answering your prayer. And then I talked to him a few weeks later, a couple weeks ago, and he tells me, oh yeah, I was spontaneous blind in one eye. It just went completely out, gone. I was like, what? And in the back, but in my right in the back of my head, I'm like, I know exactly why that happened. You know, I'm asking him how it happened. At the same time, I know exactly how it happened. Well, why?
Exactly.
You know, but that's those things we understand that can be an outcome of sharing this gospel with everybody, but it's not supposed to be a deterrent from you sharing it with anybody. It's not supposed to. That's not supposed to be, you know, oh, I better be careful because I can make that man lose his life. No, I ain't worried about that. I'm worried about doing the job I was given to do, and that's it.
Yep.
You know?
That's it. Yep. That is it.
So that's where the reward is. I mean, not one of the main parables. The parables of talents that teaches us this lesson. He gave talents, 1 talent to one man, 3 talents to another man, 5 talents to the other man. He comes back, the man of 5 talents, doubled it to 10. The man of 3 talents, doubled it to 6. The man with 1 talent was like, oh, master, I didn't feel it was my right to do anything with your money and lose it, so I buried it here and made sure it was kept pristine for you. And what did the master say? Oh, foolish and slothful servant. How dare you decide what to do with what I gave to be done with? That's exactly what we're talking about. He gave you this gospel for you to go and invest it, not for you to be like, I'm going to make sure not to change it. Well, of course you don't change it, right? But I'm going to make sure that I'm going to keep it buried within me, and because you're the earth, you're burying it in, so I'm going to bury it within me. I'm going to make sure it's preserved till the master comes back. I'm going to just keep it right here in me and keep it good and perfect. I'm sorry, that's not why he gave it to you. He gave it to you to give out, not to bury it within yourself. I mean, even simpler for a child, do we hide our candles under the bed? No. You put them in the house so the house has light in it. You don't go put it underneath the basket. Yahweh has said something so simple so many times that it's like, that's why I can't be the hope that they love Yahweh. Yes, so does the devil loves Yahweh too. What can I say? You know, because it's a hard line to have that stance and not be like, well, screw you then.
Right. Right.
Just want to tell you that the girls are en route or something like that someplace, and they either got stuck down here with Shelley's mother, or they en route trying to go home or whatever. I don't know, but they're not going to make it, I don't think.
Shelley and Rita?
Yeah. Yes.
As long as they're safe to get back and where they come in one piece, that's all I care about. I always guarantee that one of us may not be on a call. So, you enjoy that dessert and that dinner when you can and feed off of it till you see them again. But they're both missed.
It's funny though. It's funny because I couldn't say it. I can't say it enough times. It's a blessing to have all y'all on a call together. Like I used to tell Dr. Vine that every time I called him back in the day when all I knew was Dr. Vine. I used to tell him so much about how much I appreciated he even existed. How much I appreciated.
That's the truth.
Like, my goodness.
Same here, Chief. Same here. I don't trust too many other people other than our group. I mean, I trust them. I don't hate them. I don't dislike them. But I know that sooner or later they'll give me a bunch of crap. So I'll just leave it alone. Yeah, and I don't despise them after that. I mean, all we do is preach the gospel.
Oh, Doc, and don't. I know you won't feel off about it, and don't. Well, when I see you, I'll be crying and hugging on you.
Well, the girls want to come and see you anyway, so.
I know. Well, that's the plan we got to see Shelly, so we plan on seeing you too. So.
They're already trying to convince me to go up to Vegas with them.
My mom, and my sister were just in Vegas over the weekend. Yeah. My mom always has been a big gambler, and when she had one of them 6-figure jobs, it'd be Reno every weekend, and she was like diamond and platinum members at the casinos and stuff. And now that she don't make that kind of money and can't spend that money, all that money though earned her a lot of comps nowadays. So she'd be getting like $300-400 from the casino to gamble for free. And so she makes money off of the free money she gambles at the casino. So she'd be going to Vegas like once a month, I swear. Like once a month, once every other month. Yeah.
Yeah. Stay away from the strip.
Hey, there's a reason it's called paradise, right, Gary?
Las Vegas.
They don't know that word means the grave.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
That Paradise County. Might as well be called Death Valley.
we go to Mount Charleston or Red Rock, or we leave someplace else. But there's nothing really here in Vegas except for my wife and kids, my grandkids. Other than that, that's why we are planning to start going to Africa again, kind of try to lock some things down. You don't have to go to Africa to move from Vegas. But Vegas is primarily a casino city. And since tariffs have been in effect, Las Vegas hotels are taking a big hit on visitors. So, yeah, what's here to do? If you don't go out and do something to make it feel like the desert that you're in is maybe a little oasis, there's no reason to stay here. Not at all.
And it's funny, too, because my mom's like, well, we only go to Vegas for the buffets. She loves the buffets. And I'm thinking, yeah, innocent as that sound, it's nothing but gluttony.
Exactly. So I like, I can speak for myself and my wife and I and my grandkids and my children. We like living amongst a lot of streams. Not green motifs, put it that way. Like forests. You know,
yeah.
I wasn't raised in a big city. I never got used to it. Being in the military afforded me some opportunities to travel around the globe, but other than that, I've never been a city kid. My mother and father took me when we were young. I can't remember the age, so I'm alive, but I know from what I remember being told as a toddler, took us out on my grandmother's 21-acre farm. So I'm used to the smell of dirt. And when I think about the gospel, how we are the ones casting seed and managing that soil is Yahweh in us. So I understand those concepts to help me to focus on the gospel for one, that I like life. I don't like barren soil because it shows me the fact I used to be barren in my heart and mind. Well, I had any understanding of the true name. And then blessed not to see Dr. Kenley, but at least learn something about the gospel when I came in. That soul was then given life. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh, being like that soul, was given life. So that's what I'm used to. I'm not used to.
Hey, Gary, you saying this right now? It gave me a laugh and like one of them like ahas. Isn't it? Because you're familiar with the education and gardening and stuff today. Isn't it funny that we're at the time we're at now spiritually, and the biggest push in gardening is regenerative agriculture?
Yes, exactly. It is. It's a new fad now, which is really old. You know, culture
right.
Regenerative gardening for thousands of years.
Bring that dead soil back to life.
Exactly. You know. You say when you go to a composting facility, and one composting facility here in Las Vegas called Vera Grow, and they actually grow their food from their compost.
Yes.
It's like you preaching the gospel just like the founder gave it to it, and you see it has an effect on the soil. The plants are getting the understanding, right? And the ones that don't, the plants start dying, even in good soil, because they have bad genetic DNA, or vice versa. The soil's no good because the person be preaching lies, and here you are, you got plants coming out that's stressed. They have no understanding, see, and they're showing that they need nutrients, which is the truth. So yeah.
It's a perfect example because you got things like Christianity, Catholicism, where the people join, and it seems like they're doing all right. It seems like they're becoming good people. It's just like that crappy soil. The plants that come from it, they seem like they're growing, but they got a whole lot of deficiency.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, you know, I see that Yahweh's been good to me because I'm just a black man that likes being in the soil, likes the forest, likes the jungles, and Yahweh talks to me more in settings like that than anything. He's always talking to me, but usually in the garden, and I think about Yahshua being in the garden, and in fact, basically, you might say that's where I am, in the garden, and that's where Yahweh revealed his purpose to me. I feel like, and sometimes I go out in the garden, I'm just gardening. I don't hear nothing. Oh, your word, Yahweh. I said, okay, but I know that's who I am. See?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, sometimes I have nothing in my mind, just blank. So, yeah, but the smell of the gospel, the truth of the gospel is like smelling rich soil.
Mm-hmm.
It's so intoxicating. See? It's because it has life in it, and the gospel has life. See?
It sure does have this beautiful smell to it.
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
See? So when you preach the gospel and somebody's actually getting it, see, and it's like it's a power you can't have in a physical. How am I gonna say? A physical sense, because you realize the seriousness of it. See?
Mm-hmm.
See, well, nothing can compare. Yeah. So yeah, I have to use those analogies about gardening and the gospel because we come from the soil.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're 5 of us on here and we're sharing the gospel, and y'all talking about Dr. Kinley and even John's and things that I haven't been exposed to, it's going into rich soil and it's giving life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they're well missed. I hearing Rita and Shelley talk, and the 5 of you interacting, y'all talking about stuff that I never even got exposed to. That me as a soil and the plant being given life. So, yeah, can't take it for granted. Can't take it for granted.
Nope. Cherish it. Like seriously, like cherish it. Like I remember those 3 years before I met Dr. Vine, before I called him, and I remember Dr. Vine, Jonathan, you don't have to always have your sword out. Because that's how I was walking around. I'll tell you, like, my sword was out.
Me too.
Because there was no one else. So I wasn't going to have any Tom, Dick, and Harry coming up and telling me the things of Yahweh weren't right. I was putting that to an end wherever I was. I had people, I'd be talking to people randomly on the light rail, on the bus, on the side corner. I've sat down with homeless people, and I've had homeless people tell me, with the most serious look in their face, to where I'm looking at them like, is this real? Like, to where I'm questioning, is this real? This reaction I'm hearing from this man, where they're like, I have been looking for the key. I knew he had a name. Like, and walk off with, like, skipping, you know? And I've had other people try to cast a devil out of me. In the name of Jesus, leave this young man in the name of Jesus. And I'm standing there looking at them in the eyes like, Yahweh's got the power. Like, you ain't going to call on the one that's inviting in me and have him get out of me. And to where these people have had experience where that's worked before, where a person will walk away from something like that. But I'm sorry, you playing with the real thing today, and that person ends up getting bug-eyed to where they're like, what's going on here? And they walk away like, oh my goodness, what did I just touch? You know, and it's like, so the sword was out. And I remember the first time I talked to Dr. Vine, and I was able to close my mouth. You know what I mean? And not in the sense of like, okay, I need to let the man get what he says out so that he has space within himself to even hear what's coming out of my mouth. You know, because that's a big reason why we get quiet with those who don't know is, like I tell people, you ain't got to shut that man down. You got to let them run out of gas. You know, let them run out of gas and then lay it on them, because when you let them run out of gas, they drain their fuel tank, and now you can fill up a little bit. You know, exactly. Pour something in. And with Dr. Vine, I was able to listen with joy. Like, I was able to hear somebody who was saying the same things that Yahweh caused me to know, said to me plainly, said like a person standing right next to you, you know. And it's always been that, because there are certain things that Yahweh's revealed that, I'm sorry, unless Yahweh's revealed it to you, it won't even be coming out of your mouth. Exactly. Like, I'm sorry, the thought doesn't even get comprised in your head because something hasn't happened yet. Right. And so I don't care how much a person comes up to be saying Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. I can recognize it by, well, one, the fruits that come from you, and two, there are certain things that will not come from your mouth, because Yahweh's not a fake to make it Elohim, and He's the one talking. So unless Yahweh's talking, those things aren't going to be said from the mouth of a man. And so when I hear those things come out the mouth of a man, I know I'm talking to Yahweh. You know, and that's what I recognize of Dr. Vine. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what I recognize of Gary. With you, Gary, the fact that after some of those instances on the other conference call, you called me on your own time. Yeah, and talked to me about it. That tells me what's operating in you. Oh, you know, that's what I'm talking about. Or you can identify it by the fruits. You know, if I'm mistaken, will the man that's telling me I'm mistaken stick with me 24/7 till I get it right? Well, if he does, I know who that is. Like, that's what I told Jan. When that's what Jan did for me, explaining to me how that age and dispensation chart was wrong, and just holding to what he was taught and sticking with the brother because he recognized that brother wanted to know. That's how I recognize you as my brother. Like, no greater love does a man have than to lay his life down for his friend. And we ain't just simply talking about taking a bullet or jumping in a creek for a man. We talking about just giving your time. That's your life. That's the life you've been living. And if you give that for a fellow man, you showing who you are. You showing the love that abides within you. And that's Yahweh. You know, so those, like I said, I remember those 3 years, what it was like to not have anybody that I could go to. Not that it was, how do I put this right? Not that it was anything less than what I have now, that I have brethren I can speak to. Not that it's anything less, because all I knew to go to was Yahweh. If I didn't know something, I asked Yahweh. Right. Like, He's real, ask Him. Like, and I got answers all the time. Like, there were times, I don't know if you remember, Gary, there were times where Arden would ask a question to the whole group and be like, yeah, bet y'all never thought of that. Or ask a question, and I'd ask Yahweh what the answer was, so I could give the answer, because He's asking for the answer. So I'm not going to be like, I as a man, I'm going to go to my father, ask, well, hey, Daddy, what's the answer to this? So I can repeat the answer. And there would be times where I didn't get an answer. Like, I remember one specifically. He asked everybody on the class, how come the cloud or on the chart was orange and yellow? How come it was orange and yellow? And I asked Yahweh, how come it is orange and yellow, Yahweh? I didn't get an answer. And I remember I was thinking to myself, how come Yahweh didn't give me an answer to that question, right? And then I learned that the border around the chart was red. And I was like, well, that's why Yahweh didn't give me an answer why the border was yellow and orange. Because it was not yellow and orange, it's red. So Yahweh ain't got an answer for no stupidity like that. You know what I mean?
Yep. Look, I was there when your voice first broke through, and soon as I heard the behavior, I knew already what was going on. So Yahweh just manifested it on what it came to today, because you were being basically bashed. I was being bashed offline, and we got tied up because you were farming and I was growing a garden. That's what brought us together, and we still talk about the gospel. Yeah. My interaction with Renard was when I first talked to Renard. You probably don't remember. As soon as I heard his voice, I was comfortable, because I already had enough of that behavior on the other conference call. And for months, I went without it, period. So when I got in contact, after you and I started talking, I talked to Renard. Something, I guess, about an email it was in question. And as soon as I heard his voice, I said, well, I won't be the oldest one on the line now. But it was comforting because he was sharing the gospel with me and his experience. I said, this man has a rich, rich life. I said, yeah, this will work. So after talking to you and talking to Renard, I felt comfortable calling in, because it wasn't this structure. It wasn't, you got to start off with the moderation. And I said a long time ago, a few decades ago, why, if you don't have understanding of moderation, that you have to keep having it told to you as if you forgot? So the way that Yahweh's got this going, I really have been enriched. How we jail, how we talk about the gospel, talk about our personal lives, talk about the experience that Yahweh gave us. That's rich to me. It's not that the gospel is being preached, it's being preached 1,000%. Yep. But you got to understand things are that you ain't floating off the ground like you are having this sway over people and they start following you. I noticed that when I last conference call. I wasn't blind about the 8-man corner. I wasn't blind of all the adoration about a man's flesh. I would get calls asking me about you. And I would come back, well, what's the problem? So I know how it is when you preach the gospel. It agitates people who don't want to see. And it agitates them even in the behavior that we find ourselves now in the IDML culture, because they don't want to believe the truth. So you're going to be able to be rare to find a group of people that can preach the gospel, whether it's online or it's on Zoom, and still stick their lives out. So that's essentially what you're doing. You're laying your life down. Mm-hmm. And we all need that. Hello, Shelley. Oh, Shelley's mic is quiet. So, you and Renard were my comfort to come in on the platform.
Hey, it's funny, though? I kept tabs on one thing was when it was said that Trump would be in jail. I don't know if you remember, I spoke up. I was like, hey, is that you making a prophecy there? Because you remember he said he was very adamant about it. He was like, Trump will not get a second term. That man's going to be put in jail.
I remember that.
On everything. Yahweh ain't going to let that man become president a second time.
I remember that.
I was like, you better be careful what you say, man.
That'll be. Yep.
But no, a big one that got it. When I was 16 is when the first time I 16 and a half, after I had met my uncle, and my uncle took me to class that first time. My uncle introduced me to Arden, because Arden was developing music. Arden was developing music to sing music about the Saints, the football team, the Saints. And I was helping him get his production out across all the social media sites, because I was young, computer techie guy, and knew how to advertise online before people really made a business out of it. And Arden paid me to help him do that. And I quit continuing doing it, because here I am, a young guy coming out of Christianity, so what it means to be a Christian, all that, and hearing this for the first time and getting to know it, right, through my uncle. So when I pretty much had still a Christian kind of idea about things, about how people should act and people should be. Not that that's entirely wrong, but the music that was being produced, I didn't feel comfortable with as being something that should be coming from one of us. And I told Arden that when I was a kid. I told him that I didn't feel comfortable continuing because, like, women using sexy women voices to like, oh, hey, like, you know, in a seductive tones and things like that. And I wasn't comfortable with it. Not because it was like what it was, just because of what he was supposed to be in my eyes, like the man he was supposed to be in just in the youth of understanding what I perceive that man should be and what he's saying that I perceive he shouldn't be doing that. So I didn't tell him, oh, you should be. I just was like, I'm not going to help with that. And that was like the last time I spoke to Arden. But Arden was interesting because at the time, Arden was, I hadn't met anybody else. I didn't know about the feud with LA. I didn't know about Dr. Harris and all this stuff. But just from my own experience of watching class with my uncle and watching the things they were saying and listening to them, it didn't jive with the moderation they were giving. It didn't jive with a lot of the core things they were saying. And so I saw conflict and hypocrisy in what that core group was telling the people compared to what they were professing to be saying.
You're right.
And so Arden was the first person I met that had mentioned anything about like, yeah, they're not teaching right and whatnot. So but that experience at Arden was the last time I spoke to him. The conflict on the conference call, when I was hearing him tell everybody, Yahweh was showing me who was going to win the Super Bowl and stuff, and how he was proclaiming how people were trying to come to him to ask him who was winning the Super Bowl so they could go make bets about it, and he thought that was unrighteous. In the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, but you tried making music for the team you knew were going to win and make money off of it. Like, you was trying to make a music business off of the team that you knew was going to win, and here you are professing everybody that Yahweh was the one showing you they were going to win, and that you were saying the people that were being unrighteous were trying to make money off of that information, and yet you was doing it. And that's where Arden was cross with me, like, because I knew things of the past that he had said and positions he took that were contrary to what he was trying to portray himself as on the call. I mean, when a man tries talking to everybody about how he's really the angel Gabriel, because he did that one time, talking about how his grandma, when he was little, gave him a horn, and how she used to call him Gabriel, and how he's the messenger, he's coming with the truth and all that. He's rectifying. Like, so I'm gonna make sure you on point, my dude. Like, I'm gonna make sure you on point if you're gonna take that position. I'm sorry. So when you start reading off the biography that Glenn wrote, as if you got insider information about the founder, and that's how you're presenting it to everybody, I'm gonna announce to everybody, yeah, this is coming from the biography that Glenn Kenley wrote about his father. You know, little things like that. It's like, no, this ain't about us becoming somebody to follow and trying to gain a gathering, and one of us being another Dr. Kenley. That ain't what it's about. Exactly. Like, if you got that idea, then you should be understanding that anybody who knows the truth, we all sit in that seat. Exactly. Ain't nobody sitting in a seat higher than another. Now, when that man was alive, you better not be going, well, I'm Yahweh too. Yeah, but I'm the Yahweh that taught you. Well, today, we all in the seat of being the one that Yahweh taught.
That's right.
That you are Yahweh. Yep. You know, it's like...
That's true.
Yeah. It's with love. With love, we do this. And it's like, that love is found because you understand that you are Yahweh.
That's right.
The understanding that pairs with everyone's Yahweh.
That's right.
It's like, when you go into a person and you're like, and you're not approaching them like, this is just some dead, dumb person that I got to bring back to life. If you approach that as if you approach the person as that's Yahweh in a coat of flesh, and you're like, as a little child, hey, Daddy, you remember what you taught me? You remember what you showed me? Check this out. Look at this. Look at what I did with it. If you approach the person in that manner, like you're presenting to Yahweh what He has given you, that's where the power is, because that's where you are speaking to Yahweh in them. You've passed that person.
Exactly.
You're speaking directly to Yahweh that's right there in them.
Exactly.
You, Yahweh, speaking to Yahweh.
Yep. That's the only thing doing the listening and talking is Yahweh.
Exactly.
It reminds me of the time that the founder they used to say that Dr. Kinley was a man, and then he had a vision, and he became another person or whatever. And Dr. Kinley was preaching one time, and he said, he used to say that no one knows the purpose of Yahweh but Yahweh himself. Right. And then he'd leave it alone. And he said, you no good, Dr. Kinley's no good, nobody's no good. Anyway, this guy got on the floor and he was preaching. And he said, I'm no good, you no good, and Dr. Kinley's no good. So Dr. Kinley asked him after the class was over, said, what you were saying was correct, but you didn't have to say that. Right. He was sparing him, and he didn't know it.
That's funny.
Because there ain't no Dr. Kinley that was there. Huh.
Right.
Hey, that alone is something Yahweh caused me to realize within the last few weeks that I had shared on class at the time, where it was, if everybody in Pasadena gets up on the floor and acknowledges that Glenn Kinley received the divine vision and revelation in 1960, then you're openly admitting there was no Dr. Kinley, no Glenn Kinley you were ever talking to. There's no idea of this person, Glenn Kinley, that you were communing with. That was Yahweh himself in a body. You never met Glenn Kinley. Like, ain't nobody met. Like, you see what I'm saying? Unless you knew him before 1960, you never met him. That's the same.
Well, I haven't met
his father because.
Yes.
That you never knew him. You never either before 1960. If you 1960, oh well. But and after, and the same with you. The moment you
exactly.
You are Yahweh and those responsibilities that come.
Oh, you cutting in and out, Shelly? And I know you getting into it good.
Yeah, I can't hear.
Yeah, you cutting in and out real bad, Shelly. And it sucks because I know you going into it good.
Well, we're traveling. I knew that would happen. Yeah.
I mean, I heard 2 points that you said that was drawing it right to what, right, and you are too. If ain't nobody met you before you receive this truth, they don't know it. They don't know that person either.
That goes back to when Dr. Glenn Kinley said, when somebody come in your face that want to throw something old up to you, I don't remember that. Because why? Because Yahweh said he would not remember that. Even though you may still be conscious of the fact that whatever they're saying did happen, they to the one that you're now face to face with Yahweh himself.
Mhm. That's right. Mhm. Yep. It's I don't know. If you want to be headquarters, that's what you got to be saying right there. Hey, you want to claim to be headquarters, that's the position you got to have right there. I'm sorry, because the body ain't moving without that head. No, I'd say that because I've heard in Pasadena a few times over the last 2 weeks about being headquarters and about LA having a general assembly where there ain't no general assembly if Pasadena ain't there because Pasadena is headquarters. And I'm sorry, you ain't headquarters unless you professing exactly what came out of Shelly's mouth right there. You ain't.
That was some stuff being stated right there. I know the difference.
Uh-huh. Well, I'll share you, Shelly. I talked about it earlier. Class has been good because everybody's going over the basics again, and I know why, because they're gearing up to go to Ohio, and so everybody runs over the basics again to refresh their memory. I'm not for it. We don't have a prepared speech, so you don't prepare your speech before you're about to give it. To me, that's like preparing a speech. But today, when Barry was going over things, I understand what he was trying to get at, but it came out of his mouth where he said Elohim is not the Savior. Yahshua is the Savior. And...
Oh, stupid!
I know.
Barry.
Yep, because we went over it earlier where I expressed, because it's Yahshua is the term the apostles used to reference Elohim. Elohim is what's being who is being referenced when the term Yahshua is being used, not a coat of flesh.
Eternity. Elohim is also name and title, but his name is Yahshua. Mm-hmm. When he put on that incorporated Yahshua, the title is given to him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we talk about a name, Elohim being a name, is that goes down there in the wilderness. But in that ram, when Yahweh put on that sonship degree, his name was Yahshua.
Yep.
With the title Elohim.
Yep.
Yep.
Yahweh.
No, that was Yahweh coming low. He came even lower when he put that body on God himself at him.
And that's what I commented on in the comments. After that was said, I put it in the comments. I said Yahshua is what the apostles referred to Elohim as. After they were referring to who was in the coat of flesh, not the coat of flesh, which was named Emmanuel. It's that understanding that Elohim, the name upon Elohim is Yahshua. That understanding is how the understanding that Yahweh Elohim Yahshua is one name is even granted. Because once you try to attribute Yahshua singular being that body, then you've taken out the unity of that name. It's understanding that Yahweh Elohim Yahshua is one name, Yahweh taking on shape and form, and that being his revelatory salvation. Yes.
Now, confirming, you said that was Barry that was preaching this?
Yes, and I understand what he was saying. He was trying to talk, I understand how he was trying to draw out the fulfillment and the cross as the Savior, but that, you lose salvation, because that's the manifestation of salvation. That's not salvation itself. When Yahweh took on shape and form, that's salvation itself. Salvation being manifested in the flesh is Emmanuel, that prepared sacrificial body. But there is no separate identity there. That was Elohim walking in the flesh, and that's why when the Messiah asked them, "Who do they say as I am?" and Peter spoke up and said, "Thou art Yahshua." Peter had a knowledge of what Yahshua and who Yahshua is when he's saying that. He's saying that you're the living Elohim in a body. And that's why he told them, tell it to no man till the time of the vision yet come. And the vision happened on Pentecost. And that's why when they wrote, they identified that being Yahshua walking around and doing all those things. Because they don't understand that back in the day, the Hebrews understood Elohim as Yahshua. They don't understand that.
Well, they also, when it was revealed the name Yahshua, the Son of Yahweh, it also declared that was the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
That's and they know better than that. There's nobody around here stupid. Of all people, Barry should. I mean, you can't play around with those things.
I know. That's why I was saying earlier, that's why it's even sadder at times to hear Pasadena, because I can testify 95% of what's coming out their mouth is true. because they're holding to what they're repeating what Glenn taught them. The problem is, at times when they go into expounding on things, it's off. That's why I appreciate Danny Gutierrez and his wife when they get up, because they really stick to what they learned. I do not see Danny or his wife Laura going into things that they don't understand. I'll put it that way.
Right.
They stick exactly to what they know and what they understand, and that's so appreciated. I appreciate that so much. Because Danny's admitted on the floor where I don't really understand that part right there, whatnot, and that's where Yahweh can do something with the man. Now, when people get up and they got this like, they try to take an authoritative position in things they don't know, and it just goes bad. Like, that's where you get little phrases like, "Okay, everybody, I'm not going to go all crazy and go up in the cloud today." Like, I understand the sentiment you're saying, but that's just something that don't come out one's mouth that understands. It just won't. You know, like, I understand what you're drawing out by saying Elohim's not the Savior, but that ain't a phrase that should be coming out your mouth, Elohim not the Savior. What? That would prick me. Are you cut out real bad, Shelly?
When do you get out from the brain? When your spirit exits your body for you to be able to look at your body, that ain't you. That's Yahweh looking at his creation. I'll probably get here. The brain breaking up, but oh well. Sorry. Oh, probably we should have typed it right on your on your phone. It would make bad connection.
I think if one of you used your phones to call in instead of going through the app, it might work a lot better.
We're not. It's only one that's calling in.
Because when you use the app, it's trying to pass everything through your data. When you're using the call, it's going over the cellular network instead of the data.
Okay. Rita's going to try.
We don't want to miss what you're saying.
How did you call me? Not right down. Oh. I've always called it from my computer, not from my phone. Is it working? Okay.
We can hear you.
Hey, Pat Henderson's mom was part of the class, right?
No.
I was thinking because Lewis and Pat was saying her mom was going into hospice, or not hospice, into I think she did say hospice. Yeah, nursing home and hospice.
She may have been part of the class back east, but she wasn't part of Pasadena.
Okay.
We're still working on it. Because we can hear them. Well, they wanted to know what I said.
I was hoping they'd actually would have gone. Nobody went into the scripture lesson that they had today, which was Acts 12, which is the account of when Peter was in jail, and Herod had killed James, and going to kill Peter, and Peter was in jail. And when Peter was rescued by Yahweh, one thing I found interesting, well, when it was being read, was that when Peter was being led out of the jail, and the angel was leading him out of the jail, Peter thought he was in a vision, and how it wasn't till the angel left his side did he realize he wasn't having a vision. I found that interesting, because it's like I try to point out to people, it's like when Yahweh gives the man the vision, or a vision in that sense, it's indistinguishable from what people call reality. And I say that because I've heard some people on the floor, when they were talking about the vision and then coming out of the vision, coming back to reality. And I'm like, that don't jive, because the vision, whatever Yahweh said, that is reality. Like, what Yahweh's showing is reality. You know, and so it was interesting how, like, Peter thought he was walking in a vision, or he was having a vision of people in prison, but the whole time he was being walked right out the prison by an angel. And how that's one of those things that show you the vision and what people consider reality is indistinguishable. And that's one thing that can show you that what you're walking in right now, what you are living, is the vision. Like, that's the vision. That's part of the revelation, is knowing that it's the vision. You know?
Right.
Yes. That's a revelation the founder had afterwards, right? Did he not ask Yahweh, oh, is this really, did what I just see really come from you? Did he not ask him that, right? And that's what had him ask to make those stars fall, where he said, if this was really from you, cause that star to fall, right? There's a revelation that he had just had the vision. I mean, part of the revelation you receive is that you're walking in the vision. Like, it's not like, man.
Information.
Mm-hmm.
That is who he is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is a vision. This is Yahweh revealing himself. I mean, every day, every moment, is that not something being brought out? You know, people just think, just walking around not understanding, it's Yahweh is continually revealing himself. Every step you take, that's what that is. Yahweh revealing himself.
Yep. You're coming to know who you are.
Mm-hmm. That's what's so beautiful, where it's like, he said, what does he ask when you come to him, right? My burden is easy, my yoke is light. Or my yoke is easy, my burden is light. Learn of me. Like you learning of yourself. Like, that's what he's asking you to learn of me, is learning of yourself. You're learning what you've already laid down of yourself. Like, that's why I tell people, because they'd be like, oh, well, so you saying I'm Yahweh, I can do this, I can do that, because I'm Yahweh, I can do whatever I want. I was like, no, you Yahweh. No, it's like, you Yahweh already, this is how I tell people. People ain't even from class, and I'll be like, no, you Yahweh have already declared who you are. You Yahweh have already declared what you'll do. You Yahweh have already declared who and what you'll be. And you Yahweh said you wouldn't change. And that's who I'm telling you are. You see, like, man, it's like, it's not some new developing Yahweh that you are. No. You come to find out you Yahweh, and you just learning who you are. Like, that's how you know how to operate. Ain't nobody got to be like, you got to do this and you got to do that. No, it's just, you've already said what you'll do.
Yep.
think that's the biggest thing on our day-to-day. We understand this is keeping to what we said we are.
We say that Yahweh is all in all, and that's all, but we don't apply it.
Yeah, they have something on that, and then Chinese.
Yep.
Ask Jonathan. Jonathan,
Yes, ma'am.
if I want to put it on my phone, where do I put it? Yeah, to get this app.
No, you dial in like a phone number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you dial in like a phone number.
Text her the number. But
okay.
What I said earlier, if you can hear me clearly, was when do you get out from up under your brain? And if you're ever able to exit the body and see the body that you were dwelling in, that's Yahweh himself seeing that, not the personality.
Correct.
You know, I mean, you gotta tell you, we've been taught well. We walk a fine line, and you can't get nothing past us with that drama.
That's right. You throw all the rocks you want, but it won't do no good.
Right.
They're not really throwing rocks, they're throwing pebbles.
But it don't make no sense. It's unnecessary to be that dang foolish and stupid in this late day. You know, what are you trying to prove?
I told Jonathan that that statement that Barry Ward make sometimes when they get it mixed up, when Glenn would have him speak and have him do this and have him do that and read and this and another. Sometimes it unbeware of their action that goes to their head. The same thing with Gary Grove, and you can listen to all of the contradictory things coming out of their mouth at this late date.
Right.
It's about what you were told.
Hey, one funny one I recognized back in the day that I found real funny when it was shown to me was that when you listen to a lot of those old tapes, one of the primary scripture reader that you hear for the founder is Dr. Harris, and there are controversies that Dr. Harris started and things that he was teaching that we know of that are wrong, that when you know of today, when you listen to those tapes back in the day, the accentuation points that the founder tells him, read that again, and stuff goes right back to the controversy that he was teaching later. So it's almost like Yahweh was calling him out about it before he even did it.
Right. Yeah, he's a perfect example. He never would try to be David for Yahweh called. Never thinks at the beginning.
Well, I mean, if you really look at it, because there ain't no wickedness planned in Yahweh. So Yahweh let it permit for what reason? To teach us what not to do.
Right.
Don't you think
right.
Start doing that. Don't you treat people that way? Don't you run a class that way? This ain't what it's about. Like, think about it. How much of the depth of what's been expressed to us came because of their misstepping? Like, there were things that really didn't even go into depth on because we already accepted the things in our heart. But we had to be prepared because of the stuff that was coming out. And so with that stuff coming out, it allowed the depth of our understanding to even be deeper.
Yeah. I think the same thing that happened with Burbank Mitchell and Dr. Harris is that once they were corrected by Glenn or someone else, they had to back up what they were saying. They wanted to fortify that because too many people was watching, and it would not take down.
Well, that's actually a perfect example. Because didn't Glenn himself say he let them come up in there and teach that stuff so that he can give you the correction for it?
That's right.
Yep.
He invited them over so that we could hear it in our ear, right, face to face.
I mean, I find it funny too because a lot of the things that we were taught in regards to those mistakes, the fruit that comes in them with the understanding goes to a lot of what the world says. Like, the world don't know the doctrine to be saying certain things about it, but the things that they were saying are one with the things people in the world are thinking about the doctrine. So the correction that we were given for that doesn't even just apply to that. It applies to what people in the world think about it too. It's like a multifaceted answer. It's amazing. Like, you don't, like, if you have a joy of learning and just, you know, in education and just learning things, you do not find multifaceted answers in a lot of things. You don't, like, that's one of the things that really hit me as, like, someone who loved to learn. When I first came across this doctrine, the vision of revelation, was how the answers that were given were multifaceted, meaning it didn't just apply to one thing. It was core within everything. Like, and you don't find that. Like if someone asks you, what does this protein in the body do? What does this hormone in the body do? And someone tells you, oh, well, it does this. It goes to this organ and helps produce this whatever, this, you know, or this amino acid goes to this organ and produces this protein, whatever. That's just telling me what it's doing. That's not telling me why it does that no matter what, every time, and it doesn't tell me anything about it. So it only applies in that field because it's only specific to that thing doing. But then you get the understanding of how Yahweh was moving and what that thing was showing, or like what that's doing. And so you understand, like, this is why I use the phrase when I explain the pattern to people like atheists, people who are all big in science, all big in their head. And I explain how the pattern isn't just a display of the orientation of three things together. It also dictates, meaning it determines, like it's explicit on what it's saying. It dictates its function and composition dependent on where it is within the position of the pattern. That's how you can take it and go into everything in the physical universe that you see and put it to the test, and you see it over and over again. It's a multifaceted answer, meaning it's an answer that applies to anything you see. And that's what I found in what some may consider a basic line of knowledge or understanding that Yahweh gives you. What you find is, no matter where you look, that answer applies. It's like, and no matter what Yahweh has said, that answer is a part of it. It's multifaceted. You can't find anywhere it's not. And that's one of the biggest pieces of evidence that show Yahweh is all in all. Like the fact that everything that he says is multifaceted. Like the Messiah, Yahweh Elohim, walking in his physical body and telling the people, I have my own self, nothing. It's my Father in me doing the work, right? That's a multifaceted state, because that's not just Yahweh Elohim in the position of a physical man. That's also Yahweh Elohim making that statement. When you see that divine shape and form, I of my own can do nothing. It's the Father in me that doeth the work. That's where you have the understanding of Elohim when giving Moses the vision. Let us make man in our image and in our likeness. That's Yahweh taking on the position of a son, giving glory back into his eternal estate of the Father. So when in the body of a man he's saying, I of my own self can do nothing, that is a multifaceted statement that goes beyond just the flesh, but also the position of Elohim. And that's what you find in like the majority of what the Messiah is saying. What Yahweh is saying while walking in a shape and form. Always giving glory and pointing back to the Father. Like always, no matter what. Like that, even in what was it? In Acts 12, what was it? When Herod had given a big speech to the people, and the people bowed down to him and praised him like he was a god. And it says that Elohim, that Yahweh cursed them right then and there. And like the way it reads is that he literally turned to rotten flesh while he was sitting there before the people, and worms started eating his flesh, like right before the people. Like how you see in a movie, in a scary movie, and the person just starts deteriorating and worms start coming out of their body, and you're like, you weren't even buried in the ground. That's what happened to Herod right before the people, as the people praised him like Elohim. The people praised him like Elohim, and it caused him to turn to, and he felt that way too. And it says, because he did not give the glory to Yahweh, he rotted. He died right there, and worms ate his flesh. Right there on the throne. Right before the people. Some instantaneous rot. Like you give the glory back to the Father. Was that not what the adversary, was that not what he did, right? His position was to be an example to all the other angels of where to keep your eyes, keep your eyes on the Father. And that, what did he not do? You know, so over and over again, it's multifaceted. That's why anybody that knows, you'd see how crazy and foolish it is to ever say, oh, I'm not going to go crazy tonight, guys, and go up into the cloud. Everything you're saying is supposed to be multifaceted in the cloud. It's supposed to be coming from the cloud, in the cloud, and that's it. There ain't nowhere else to be or go to. The hell? I texted the call-in number to Rita's phone, Shelly. I'm going to text it to your number, too.
He's not here right now. She's out of the car, and I'm listening to you.
Oh,
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
She's out of the car because she had to take the baby somewhere, okay? But I'm listening, so you guys keep preaching.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. No, the whole marvel is when you come to an understanding that Yahweh is from the beginning and Yahweh is all the way to the end, and there's nothing else that exists other than Him. It removes that thing about the flesh and a whole lot of other things, physical stuff. I've been crying lately, physically. You know, when I see a child. Like at Christmas, they advertise a lot of things about St. Jude and stuff like that, and I said, you know, Yahweh, you didn't have to do that on my part. I mean, I accept, but to see a child go through that, just said, even though it's you, I know it's you. I don't have any problems with recognizing who it is, but I recognize that you didn't have to do that to show me that.
I think he's just reaching out to show out some of the other people, you know.
Yeah,
Wake up.
I agree. No, I totally agree with you. You're right. But I mean, it still hurts to see it happen.
I know. Yeah.
Well, you know what that's a mandate to show us those that have not the gospel in our those.
Right. Right.
You know, it's not about us trying to find out wealth to bless those people with. That's what I was saying. Like these videos, and I posted them times before. Just walking up and giving a homeless person a house, money, all this different stuff, and it caused me to cry. Not because of the deed done, but how the person reacts. That heart of appreciation. And that's why I say what we have to offer is even greater. Like, we see those people starving, implication of, and we're the food bank. You know what I'm saying? We're the mobile food bank.
I cried for Steele. I cried for Rick. I mean, Kim. All of them, for the simple reason, I have no war with you. I'm telling you what thus said Yahweh. I have no war with you, but yet you find a reason to turn away, and I'm like Glenn say, I know what it's going to lead you to. No, that's what I meant by that.
I'm knowing. That's like an advertise. I look at those commercials as continual advertisements for us to get to work. You know what I mean? To keep working. We got the longest work schedule a man can have, 24/7, 365.
Like Glenn said, he said, you are how said it. He said, all before that, from the beginning up to now, you're the greatest part of this creation. Why? For the simple reason you have gathered all of the knowledge that they didn't get before. Now you got their knowledge, everybody's knowledge, all the way down to Yahweh fulfilling it within you, and you still turn your back, and you still, have fault or have a problem with or whatever. I mean, it don't matter. I mean, and not saying that I'm not going to look at it the way that some schools look at it, that we're the only group. There's more out there. Yahweh said He desired for none to be lost. And there's more out there than just us.
Yep. Well, that's why I put that little detail in what I said earlier about there being. I know that there's others around that are holding to it. It's when you have a body, there's a lot of the confidence to get to work come. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just from our site, you'd be surprised at how many people I've talked to, and they ask me about information or ask me about documents, whatever, and I give it to them, and they tell me, it's too far away from the school, and this was the greatest thing that could happen to them, and I want to keep talking to them, but some kind of way we lose communication or it don't continue or whatever. But I mean, there's a lot of people out there. I've come across a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a lot of, I do think I always go over in my mind the people I've talked to about this before. I can remember every conversation I've had with people. It's real funny. It's real funny. But I can remember the faces when I spoke to them, what I spoke to them about, how they received it, and though there are so many that treat you like a crazy person and all that, the people that receive it, it's encouraging. Like, you don't have, there are people who receive it in a manner where you're not concerned with needing to talk to them ever again.
Right. I understand.
Because you know that the flash of understanding, that should kind of flashing right within them, what they receive, they're set.
Right,
if they hold to that, they're set. And they don't need me continually talking to them to have it set, because that's not what I taught them.
Right.
Taught them the Yahweh's right in them. So it's like, and it's like when I first came to this, you could barely find any churches or public people using the name Yahweh. And
right.
That was the main thing that's all I hammered on. Really, all I really hammered on with people for years, for almost a decade. Just that the name was Yahweh. And then to see all these pastors and everybody and all that using the name Yahweh like they were always using it, that's exactly, there's the fruits of your labor,
Right. Right.
You know how many people, how many Christians I spoke to over the years where I was going down with them about the name, and they were taking that information back to their pastors. Like, because like you didn't have to go to pastors directly.
Right. Right.
You know?
Well, my daughter Joey's mate is Jehovah, you know, and and he tried to challenge me. So, but what he does now is that when we come on Sunday, he's somewhere listening. Isn't that interesting? Huh?
Well, if you tell them the truth, then it'll stick with them, and they can't just dump it.
Well, I tell them the truth. Yeah.
They reject it in front of you, but they can't get it out of their head.
No, they can't. Anyway, but I mean, oh, look at the baby. Look at him, big man, huh? He's a big man now, huh?
Big guy. But he just got through. I know the girls got him spoiled. He can't see us. The lights in his eyes. Okay, Rita, do you have the closing? Rita. Now unto him. Do you know about how Jonathan? I don't have it before me. Anybody with a closing? Now unto him that will keep you from falling
and present you faultless for the presence of His glory and exceeding joy. Is the only wise Elohim. Take us from sorrow, sorrow, and be glad. I think.
Did you go with you, Gary? Gary? Gary, did you go all the way through? I don't hear you. Hello? Let us all say hallelujah. Rita, don't hear you either. Jonathan, did you hear me? I don't hear you either.
Oh, I was on mute.
Right.
David, when you asked, I was on mute. I didn't even realize.
Gary went through. I was fading out. I actually lose it.
He didn't finish it, and I finished it on the, but I didn't know I was muted.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Chief. Love you. You take care of the children. And
take care.
And have a lovely day.
You as well.
Okay, I finally found how to get back to her phone. Anyway, you guys, love you, okay?
Love you.
All right.
Take care. Drive careful.
Okay, will do. Thanks, babe. Okay?